Discipline is the shovel that digs your gifts from the grave of your unawakened mind. But what is discipline? Is it the absolute commitment to a person, place, or thing? Is it a mastery? Or is it a consistent group of habits that is turned into a stone-cold part of who you are? Discipline is the practice of training oneself to follow rules, obey commands, and follow a code of conduct. The word discipline comes from the root word disciple, which is from the Latin word discipulus, meaning student. The word disciple has a connotation or generally accepted meaning of follower. However, for purposes of this lecture, it means student. It means being in the state of a learning mindset. There is no final destination. It's a state of always committing to mastery of your intended subject. So if a disciple is a student, what is that student learning? Is it just academics, art, sports, love, or is it an ethos by which the righteous live their life? Before delving deeper into the importance of discipline in the conscious individual, let's explore Neville Goddard's interpretation of what the 12 disciples of Christ symbolize. As the Bible is highly allegorical, reading and interpreting is left to each individual, and it can vary in meaning. Let's take a look at this Bible verse. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Matthew 10:1. According to Goddard, the 12 disciples represent the 12 qualities of mind which can be controlled and disciplined by man. If disciplined, they will at all times obey the command of the one who has disciplined them. Without cultivation, these qualities of mind/man can cause confusion and chaos within the slumbering individual, or as I like to call, those in a sleeper program. These are the 12 potentials of man that must be in development at all times in order to reach the highest level of self-awareness. The first disciple was Simon, who was later renamed Peter, and Simon represents hearing. For the literal and symbolic meaning, to always test information against the truth. Should it not match fact, then it should be disregarded. In short, do your own due diligence and always fact check. It is of the utmost importance to always be right and exact. When Simon proved his faithfulness to the source of knowledge, he was renamed Peter, which means rock. The rock which remains unmoved, not able to be bribed or coerced to do wrongful acts. This means staying true to who you are and that which you are committing to. The second disciple is Andrew, or courage. With faith alone, the undisciplined man is simply a follower of rhetoric, but paired with courage, man will stand against the entire world for what is right and never befall to the third dimension. Courage is in knowing the work you are doing will speak for itself without having the present proof of the future to show for it. It's believing in one's purpose and never deviating from one's principles for the sake of appeasing another. Then we have James and John. James, the just, the righteous judge, and John, the beloved. Justice is wisdom. It is being fair and demonstrating equanimity regardless of the task or subject. And the ability to be just while giving love. Always turning the cheek. Justice is knowing when to address strife and the wisdom to give the appropriate action. It is respect. The just man will never falter in his commitment and is incapable of accepting any principle that opposes his ability to love. Justice and love are truly two concepts that in discipline marry each other. They are nearly inseparable. And when you apply these two aspects to your life, you will begin to forgive others for their ill will towards you and want for them a better outcome. Because to be fair is to understand that man is of the flesh. Man is imperfect. And it also means that being fair does not equal allowing transgressions to continue. You have to learn how to correct the misgivings for the sake of your own self. It is your dignity that grows with the application of justice and love. The fifth disciple is Philip. This is the disciple that asked to be shown the Father. As we know, God is not a magic sky daddy with a wand, but the divine masculine energy of all consciousness and awareness. This is fortitude and seeing one's ideas through until they become one with the flesh. It is having a divine idea, turning it into a plan and delivering it through process into reality. The sixth disciple is Bartholomew. This is the imaginative faculty that, paired with awareness, will distinguish one from all others. With imagination and attention, man becomes the hands of God, the ray of light that shines in the darkness. It is the reassurance to those around him that the process of his divine idea is manifesting. Think about the greatest thought leaders throughout history. Have they not been known for their outlandish dreams? Were they not persecuted for thinking outside of the box? And yet many of our artists, scientists, inventors, and healers continue to forge a new path with their ideas and creative innovations. Without imagination, the most innocent and childlike quality that exists, we are limited, sentenced to follow in the footsteps of man and not in the faith of the Most High. The seventh disciple is called Thomas, and this is the courageous quality that denies and doubts all rumors. This is like true love between man and woman that allows no room for the opinion of others to undermine their beautiful foundation of love. To know your intention of discipline is to quietly stand strong with the awareness of it. Whether it's your art, fitness, marriage, love, or scholastic endeavors, remain faithful to the development of it. Commit to it. It is important to always show indifference to those who oppose your goal. It's not necessary to argue when the word of God is within your moral compass. It's far louder to be quiet in your loyalty than to debate the importance of it to those who do not value it. Knowledge is to draw out of man the wisdom that lays latent within the grave of his mind. The eighth disciple is Matthew, the gift of God. This quality of mind reveals man's desires as gifts of the Most High. The mind who has called this disciple into thought is aware that his heart has the power and the plan to express itself in this reality. In short, one's righteous desires are gifts both to man and mankind. It is a service to all. Man knows his desires are gifts already given as his thought created them, and regardless of time, belong to him. The ninth disciple is James, the son of Alphaeus. This is the quality of discernment, lucid and orderly thinking. This is the value that is not revealed to the eye of man, but one that is like clairvoyance, looking past appearances and testing information against the wisdom of one's awareness. It means to not be misled by appearances and to always be cognizant of who, what, where, why, and how of all circumstances. It means not accepting things at face value and digging deep to understand the fullness of the subject. Praise giving respect the deist. The 10th disciple means praise, a quality many of us have a great deal of difficulty in giving. This is most importantly given to God, our higher self, which is synonymous with the Father, our divine masculine consciousness that provides logic and will for us. It is thinking through our righteous actions. Praise and respect are not always apparent. It may be through simple acts. It is like gravity, unseen but known to exist by its consistent action. Let your discipline of respect in the arts and academics be the acknowledgement of those who have walked the path before you. Let praise and respect be your consistent reminder to your spouse of your appreciation, your gratitude of their work and their character. It is one of the most underrated qualities to express, and yet it drives to the heart love like a hammer to a nail. The 11th disciple is Simon of Canaan. This is like praise giving, yet it is more so sharing this praise. When one has made a practice of giving praise, it is incapable of hearing anything else but praise. It's sharing the benefits of fitness, painting, reading, and more rare forms of discipline like marriage. When sharing this praise, it somewhat equates to teaching. When a student obtains mastery, the next logical step is service, which is teaching. It's through teaching that we learn even more and are able to spread beyond our imagination into the reality of the world we live in. It is a debt that we must pay consistently. The 12th and last disciple is Judas. This is the disciple that betrayed Christ. He knew he had done the ultimate injustice and ended up taking his own life. This is symbolic to an ego death. So in order to start anew, you must experience an ego death. And many times we go through adolescence in life without knowing that we will completely transform. And there's times where we literally want to leave this reality, and not many people are there to tell us that we're supposed to feel that way, because we have to destroy that previous chapter of our lives in order to rebirth our new self. So it's like deleting the sleeper program that you were on in order to rewrite a new one. It's the opportunity for you to create yourself just the way you want to. Always keep in mind that the reality you think you live in is always changing based on your perception of self. The more you respect yourself, the more you honor yourself, the more you serve yourself, the more the world sees and respects your value. One of the markers of attractiveness is discipline. Even if someone is unconventionally attractive, with discipline, their value increases. It shows a willingness to commit to tasks, regardless of how mundane, painful, and incredibly challenging those tasks are. It demonstrates self-respect and the discernment of the company one keeps. After all, a store owner is not likely to keep thieves as close friends. It boasts a sense of self-control, restraint, the ability to stick with something even when it is in the winter of its existence. When you begin to make yourself obey, metaphorically treating your body like a beast and make it stay, sit, and run on command, you have begun self-mastery. This is a level of discipline that leads to self-respect. You will begin to see your taste in life elevate. Your ideal partner will be an ultimate reflection of yourself, and this is going to limit your selection to one. But think about this. How many of you exist in this world? I mean, isn't it fitting that there's just one person for you, as you are just one person of you? Forget about time. Time is an illusion. When I think about my ideal partner, I know that I will be submitting to him and no one else. So everything must align perfectly. Before this proverbial wedding, let's talk about the first spouse you'll ever have, yourself. Marriage begins with you. You have to divorce yourself from bad habits and start employing the ultimate discipleship to yourself. This is not only going to make you the ideal spouse, but attract the ideal spouse. Learning how to be a good wife to myself means paying attention to my mood and my well-being, knowing when the conditions need to be addressed with rest, water, food, prayer, or movement. Being a good wife to myself not only means forgiving myself for my mistakes, but always encouraging myself to continue growing. The ultimate husband for me would be an understanding man, a man with incredible self-discipline, restraint, and courage. A strong man with intellect. So what would pair well with those qualities? These are the questions that I had to answer in order to create the wife that would best complement my ideal spouse. After all, love is the demonstration of perseverance, determination, loyalty, honor, respect, and compromise. Even when times seem barren, the discipline of commitment will gain interest. Will you remain faithful to your chosen disciplines?